Hi, I'm Peter from the Bicycle Man, and I'm going to install an ice quick adjust kit on this ice trike. And that's going to allow different people to use the trike and adjust the pedals in and out for their leg length without having to adjust the chain. So I've got the pieces of the kit here. This is the idler that clamps on the boom. And this is the idler that clamps on the frame, and the quick releases that hold it on, or they replace the Allen bolts that are in there now. And this is a tube that the front derailleur cable is going to go through so that it can slide when you adjust it. And then I've got some tools here. I've got a chain tool to cut the chain. I've got this is a tool to take apart the master link. You don't really need it. You could use a pair of needle nose pliers if you're tricky, but this is really handy, and I'm lazy, so I'll use the good tool. This is going to cut the zip ties when I take off the old ones. This is going to cut the end of the gear cable because I've got to pull the gear cable out and thread it through this tube. And then I've got another master link to put the chain back together, and a cap to go on the end of the gear cable because I'm going to cut the other one off. And then I've got a piece of matching chain so I can lengthen the chain as much as we want to. I already checked, and the front derailleur cable is plenty long, so we're going to be able to lengthen the frame without lengthening the front derailleur cable, so we're good with that. And I have a rag because I'm such a neat freak, but if my wife sees this, she will laugh because she knows better. And we have the directions, which include everything you need to know, except it doesn't have all the tools you actually need. I'm not sure how anyway, yeah, whatever. I would add more tools to that list. So now I'm going to get started. And I am going to start by removing, well, first I'm going to check where the chain is set now. The chain is set on 16. The frame is numbered. So the current length is 16. We want it to go down to, at least down to 16. So I'm going to take my Allen wrench and I'm going to loosen the bolts, remove the bolts actually. Some people don't like having a quick adjust kit because when someone asks if they can try their trike, they can say, well, no, it's hard to adjust, so you can't try my trike. Other people love to be able to let people try their trike, so this is perfect for them. So depends on how extroverted you are, I guess. So there's the old bolts. We aren't going to need those again. We're going to replace those with these quick releases. I'm going to put these in where the bolts were. These will allow you to adjust it without using tools once you get it all installed and set up. That will slide right on there. Ice accessories are nicely made. All right, there's one piece installed. And you're going to want to set these facing fore and aft so they don't touch the chain. Now, I'm going to undo the front derailleur cable. That'll have to be done sooner or later. That cable's a little frayed. Maybe I will replace that while we're at it. So, I'll just take it off with the cap. Now, I like the Park tools. They're a good quality tool. They also almost match the color of the blue Ice Adventure, but that's not why I like them. I like them because they're a very good quality tool, and the company's good about warranty, and they take care of their customers, which I think is an important thing.
And they match the Bicycle Man t-shirt.
They match the t-shirt, yes. And I'm an old hand at this. You can tell I'm old, you see, because it says Grandpa on the back. We were having a rally day here, and my daughter was due just about that week, so I said, I may not be here. So she had the baby a week before the event, and they printed this shirt for me. So I came in and they said, dude, you got to wear this shirt today, so I love it. All right, now I'm going to take this out of here. So I'm removing the front derailleur cable. Now this tube goes around here. I'm going to remove the old zip ties. One and two. Now that goes on there. Get the new zip ties. So that's supposed to, you know, they're pretty conflicty there. Yeah, that's just what they show, but it doesn't fit quite like it does here. Okay, they show the levers on this side too, but over here they don't show the levers on this side. Yeah. You choose. Show the levers on the right side, one shows it on the left. Okay, having looked at the directions a little closer, I see that 2 of the 3 pictures show the quick release levers being on the right side, but I think I'm going to try them on the left side. That way you don't have to worry about them ever touching the chain. It also gives you a little more space on this side for the front gear cable, so I think that this will be the preferred method. Get that adjusted as tight as I want it, not too tight. Like Goldilocks is quick release, right? Not too tight, not too loose. Now, I had 2 zip ties here a second ago. Am I sitting on one? Ah, right behind my knee. You could see it, but I couldn't. I don't know why you didn't tell me it was there. You people on YouTube, you should be helpful. So now I'm attaching this tube, and this will allow the front gear cable to easily move when you adjust the bike. I'm just zip tying it onto these cable stops. You can see this one a little better. And I'm just going to tighten that down there. And when I get done, I'll shorten it up, but I may just want to tighten it again, so I'll just leave it for now. All right. Now, so I'm going to take this bolt out of here. It's really a nicely made thing. It's got a hinge on it, so you don't have to pull the boom out of the frame, which is really handy. That will go around here. Like that. Put that back in. So I'm going to put the noodle back on the bike, and I'm going to use this one. It's a flexible noodle, which is nice, especially because we'll be adjusting the bike some. The old noodle, you see, is flexible, but you see it'll only flex once, and then it gets a kink in it. So we're gonna recycle that one. So I've got the new wire installed now, plenty long, nice and smooth, and the new noodle. And the noodle has an adjuster in it, which is nice because the adjuster on the gear lever had broken. So that will work. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to thread it up through the bottom of the frame. The front derailleur cable goes right through the frame. So it's going to come up from below. Let me get that out of the way. You see the cable's coming up from below. And then I'm going to feed the noodle into the hole there. Until you see the end there. See the end of the noodle there? Cable is correctly installed. And I'll push the excess to the back again. Now, the cable is going to go over the top of the derailleur pinch bolt like this and just tighten up like that. Am I in the right gear? Yes, I'm in the right gear. So I will tighten this up. I like these three-way wrenches, but right for this particular job, they're not the most convenient. But while I tighten this bolt, I do have time to tell you my COVID joke. I was talking to a nurse yesterday, and she asked me if I'd recently lost my sense of taste. I said, no, I always dress like this. Should I be offended? So there, that's my COVID joke. Nurses think it's funny. My mom is 91, so I get to see nurses every once in a while, and they think it's hilarious. I'm sure all nurses are sick of asking that question after a year of COVID, right? So now, the cable cutter's right here. I'm going to shorten this cable a couple inches longer than a couple inches past the derailleur. I'm going to put a cap on the end of it so it doesn't fray. With any luck, it will stay that way until the next time it gets worked on. There, now that cap will stay on there. Now, I'm going to bend this cable forward and up out of the way like this so that it doesn't go twang, 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 twang. I'm going to cut this chain tube off back here so that when we push the bike in, when we shorten it, this has access to the chain. So I'll do that with a sharp knife, and you want to be careful to count all your fingers when you're done, right? You don't want to lose any fingers. But it's really not as bad as you'd think, because as I'm cutting into this tube, you'd think, well, if it suddenly cuts through, it's going to cut my hand. Well, you know, there's a chain inside of that tube, so it's not going to suddenly jump through so it's not as bad as it looks, but I do like my fingers. I've become attached to them, so I will be careful. And they use a pretty rugged tube, so this will take a minute. And you get extra points if if you get a smooth, flush cut. That's worked just fine with a unsightly cut, but we'll see if I can't do a little better. There, that's not too bad. Now I'm going to cut the chain a little bit to put the because I'm going to lengthen the chain. So I'm going to take this off in one piece instead of slitting it lengthwise, because it's not because I'm lazy, it's because I don't want to waste it. I'll use it for something else later, maybe. Yeah, okay, I'm lazy. Now I'm going to look for the master link. Could have found that beforehand, because it's pretty boring to watch me look for a master link. I suppose I could tell you my COVID joke while I'm working on it. Oh, there it is right there. Well, forget it. You're not going to get the COVID joke because I thought it didn't take enough time. I'm going to separate the master link. Actually, I'm going to run and get one other tool. I will be back in just a moment, and I'll demonstrate how useful this little tool is. Okay, so here is the super tool. Very expensive. No, very cheap. So before I unhook the chain, I'm going to stick this through here, because if I don't, it's possible the chain will go right back into that tube and I'll have to pull it back out again. Like I said, I'm lazy. Too lazy to do that. That'd be like work. So I'm going to put one down here too, pull a little slack through. There, now I don't have to worry about the chain going anywhere without my written permission. And I'm going to unhook the master link, and you put the tool through here, and you compress the master link shorter, and it unhooks like that. And come on. See how easy this is? There. Now I'm going to set that aside. so I don't lose it. I'm going to take this tube off because that's why I did this. And I guess I'll leave that unhooked for a little while. I just swept the floor so Naha! I've found the reason that some of the pictures show it on the right side of the bike and some of the pictures show it on the left. It's because I put this part on backwards, they all show it on the right. Oh, it's so hard to get good help these days. But it's quick and easy to remedy now that I've recognized my problem. There. 1, 2. And it goes down into the front. I see. Yep. Down into the back. They changed camera angle on me. Yep. Tighten it up and adjust the quick releases. There. Now, so the chain is going to come over the top of this idler. And then it's going to go around underneath the bottom of the other idler, so I will add new chain now. Now, when you add a section of new chain, the new chain is, of course, new. The old chain has some wear on it, and if the old chain is fairly worn, and let's see, this has got to go that way. The curve needs to be to the inside of the rear sprocket when it gets there, so that has to face up. So if the old chain is quite worn, and the sprocket in the back, of course, is similarly worn because they grew up together, then putting in a new section of chain may cause it to not function because the chain and the sprocket are worn in together, and a new chain won't work as well on an old chain as an old chain would. So if you replace your chain fairly frequently, you probably won't have to replace your rear sprocket every time. But if you wait until your chain is really worn out, you better replace the sprocket at the same time. But you can tell by taking it for a test ride and standing on the pedals, and what will happen is that the chain will skip. And so then you'll decide that you don't like it skipping. So I suppose at this point we should tighten this clamp down, get everything aligned, and tighten it back up with this wrench that is very handy in other situations, but not quite as handy in this situation. So now we've got it all assembled and installed. All we have to do is set the length of the chain. So I'm going to pull this chain forward here and pull out my nifty neato little chain keeper tool, which of course you can buy at any hardware store for probably $1 for a pack of 6 or something. One of those. I'm going to pull that out, and now I'm going to pull this forward, and you see the rear derailleur moving over there. I want the rear derailleur to be in about this position, just a little bit behind vertical. And that's when I'm in the high gear, which is the largest front gear and the smallest rear gear.
Move it again, in and out.
So this is too long. This is about right.
Got it.
And this is too short. So I want it just a little bit behind vertical. How does that look to you? I can't see it from here as well as you can.
It is just
Looks
a little
good?
behind.
All right, we'll left it right there. Now back up front here, we'll work with the master link. And I'm going to cut this pin right there with another part tool. Now that we've decided how long the chain wants to be, I'm going to push this pin out to cut the chain. There we go. And back this back off. There's my leftover chain. Here's the chain we're keeping. And here's our master link. And let's talk about master links just a little bit. You see there's a keyhole slot there. And the other end of the master link has got a groove in it. So it fits through the keyhole slot, and then you pull it this way and it locks in place. And there are 2 of them. They're identical. I can hold them up the right way. They're 2. They go together like this. And they're really reliable. Occasionally one breaks, or comes unhooked. And I have no idea how it happens, but occasionally it does happen. But it's really, really rare. If it happened a lot, we would know. And it just doesn't. It's very rare. So now I'm going to put these together like that. Make sure that both pins are in. Okay, both pins are in. I can feel the head of the bolt of the pin on the opposite side, and then you just pull, and it's locked in place now. And you can see how this tool pulls it back apart. Like this. You see the pins slide down there? Come on. Sometimes they do it easier than others. There. So now it's unlocked. Well, see, it's unlocked. There, now it's locked because it's down the end of there. If you have trouble getting it to lock, you can backpedal until the chain is on the top of the bike, and then I just hit the pedal with my foot, and that a jerk of tension stretches it out and snaps it right in place. The harder you pedal, the more locked it is, so it works really well. All right, here's the pin I took out. See, the bike is lighter now because I took this pin out. Not much. Now, the one mistake that's easy to make is to forget to remove these things and try to ride the bike. Does not ride at all well with those in there. Doesn't, not at all. Not at all. Okay, we should be ready to go for a ride, except we have to put a seat on it. I'm going to show you how it works here. I'm going to pull the boom in and out, and you can see the chain actually move. It's pretty neat, it's a pretty simple system. So I pull out, and you see it moves like that, and it keeps the chain adjusted all the way out here. And the chain is the same length as it was when it was way back in there. Still the same chain length. Isn't that neat? Nifty neato. So, the ICE Quick Adjust Kit. It's a neat option. Who would want it? Someone that wants to share their bike, someone outgoing that wants to share their bike and let other people try the wonderful joy of riding a trike. Who wouldn't want it? Well, someone that isn't going to share their trike, okay? Because it adds weight, it adds friction, it adds expense. So, if you're not going to share your trike, don't just put it on there just for the fun of it. Sometimes people do. Now, we often keep an ICE trike in the shop at the Bicycle Man, with the quick adjust kit, because all kinds of people are going to test ride that bike. So it's nice to have a quick adjust there, but if you're just going to be the only one riding it, save your money. Thanks for listening. I'm Peter from The Bicycle Man.